What up? Mr. Lee here. All right, so this is going to be solving multi-step equations. So we're leveling up from your 2 steps. So these multi-step equations might take 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps to solve. Okay, let's kind of see where we go from there. Okay, so here's your first example. Negative 7 plus 4m plus 10 equals 15 minus 2m. Okay, so my tip for all of these is combine like terms on a side of the equation if you can. Okay, so for example, you have 3 terms being added here. We can make this simpler, right? Your negative 7 plus a 10, I can just simplify that or evaluate it into a positive 3. Okay, so I'm going to combine like terms on left side. The right side, I can't combine anything. There's only a 15 minus 2m. That's just going to stay put. Okay, so I'm only focusing on the left side. So let's see what that looks like. So your negative 7 plus a 10, it's going to update into just a 3, right? Negative 7 plus 10 is equal to a 3. So all I'm doing is changing the way this left side looks. Everything else stays put. Okay? And hopefully you guys are seeing it looks a lot simpler. Okay, so let's keep going here. Now, you have variables on both sides. I can't combine like terms any further. But what I can do is get rid of one of these m values, right? These m terms, right? When you're solving for the final answer, look what you have. M equals something. Right? We're trying to get m by itself in one position. So I need to somehow change these m's in 2 positions into 1 position. So I can do that by doing this. I'm going to add 2m to both sides. Right? If I add 2m to both sides, this stems from the minus 2m here. I'm doing the opposite of minus 2m. I'm going to add 2m like that, which means I'm going to add 2m on the left side like that. Keep it balanced. Okay, watch what happens. Negative 2m plus 2m. Boop. And then 6m plus 2m is a 6m. Okay? Let's review what we just did. Negative 2m plus 2m goes away. 4m plus 2m, 6m. Okay? But you have to choose this operation right here. Okay? So really, that's the main piece of this video. We're able to take a more complex multi-step equation and break it down now into, we have a 2-step equation now. We're not done solving it yet, but I'm going to kind of breeze through the rest of this because I'm assuming you guys can solve 2-step equations if you're watching this video. So from here, right, you're solving a 2-step equation. You're going to, subtract 3 on both sides, right? 3 minus 3 is 0. 15 minus 3 is 12. Divide both sides by 6. You get m equals 2. Okay? So again, the more important parts are kind of this beginning. So definitely focus on that part for the video, but then once you get into a 2-step or 1-step, it's more straightforward from there. Okay. I want to check it over here. Okay, let's do one more of these. Refresh this page real quick. Okay, so I have a 4b plus 5 equals 1 plus 5b. Okay, so this one, same tip, okay? If I have a chance to combine like terms on a side, I'm going to do it. Left side is 4b plus 5. Can't add anything. 1 plus 5b. Also can't add anything. So it's important to check that step, even though I didn't need to do it for this one. So let's go to the next step, okay? So I have b's in multiple positions. Let's try to get it in 1 position, okay? I'm going to choose to remove the smaller term, okay? There's a reason for that. If you remove the 4b, think about it. 5b minus 4b will turn to a positive 1b. You're allowed to subtract 5b on both sides if you want, right? Subtract 5b, but then you have to deal with the negative on that side. So you'll still get the same answer if you work all your math correctly, but I'm going to suggest you try to subtract the smaller number, okay? So subtract 4b from both sides. It'll look like this, right? 4b minus 4b goes away. And then 5b minus 4b just turns into a 1b. Okay? So take your time with it. Pause the video if you need. I subtracted 4b from both sides. So 4b minus 4b goes away. You're left with 5. And then 1 plus 5b. The 5b minus 4b turns into a 1b. That's where that comes from. Okay? So check this out. This multi-step was actually only 2 steps because we have a nice 1b here. Okay? From here, you just have to subtract 1 from both sides. You can do this in your head, right? 1 plus 4 is obviously equal to 5, so 4 equals b. You can also subtract 1 on both sides. Okay, so b is equal to 4. let's get into some examples with parentheses. Okay, so here's your next example. I'm still going to follow my first tip, the same tip. If I have a chance to combine like terms on either side, I'm going to do it. So let's check. 2 minus 16t, nope, can't combine them. And then 6 and times a negative 3 plus 2, negative 3t plus 2, can't combine anything else here as well, right? So we're going to go to the next step for parentheses. Whenever you see parentheses, you should also be thinking, hey, can I distribute? In this case, you can. Okay, we checked our first step of seeing if we can combine some like terms. We couldn't, so let's go to now our distribution. We can distribute this right side because it has a set of parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Distribute right side of equation. Okay, so follow me. 6 times negative 3t is going to be negative 18t. Okay, positive times negative is a negative. 6 times 3t, 18t. Go back to the 6. You have to distribute it. So go back to the 6. 6 times 2 is a positive 2, right? 6 times positive 2, it's plus 12. Okay? Positive and adding, they're often interchangeable. So 6 times a positive 2 gives you a positive 12, so I'm going to add 12. Okay? So there we go. All I did was distribute this right side equation. Negative 18t plus 12. And now, hopefully you guys are seeing the pattern. Now we got it into a step that looks very similar to the last two examples. So this one, I have a negative 16t and I have a negative 18t. Okay, so think about on the number line. Negative 18t is the smaller of these two, right? Because it's further on the left of the number line. So I'm going to add 18t to both sides. Okay, so let's go ahead and add 18t to both sides. To both sides. Both sides. There we go. Add 18t to both sides. Okay, so it'll look like this. I'm going to add 18t, add 18t. Okay, so it looks like it's a lot, but the whole purpose of that is this goes away, right? Negative 18t plus 18t. I can go boop. And then let's simplify this. Negative 16t plus 18t, you get a total of 2t left. Okay? And now, check it. Two-step equation. All right, again, going to breeze through this, but we were able to turn this complex equation, distribute, add 18 to both sides, add 18t to both sides, and then we get a two-step. Okay, so follow me here. Subtract 2 on both sides, we get 2t equals 10. Divide 2 on both sides, t equals 5. Okay? Again, if you need to pause and rewind, please do that. I know I went through that two-step pretty quick, but the main part of this problem was these first 4 steps. Okay, 2 steps, 4 lines, I should say. All right, so t equals 5. Okay, we'll do one more. Use what you need for this video. I know it's getting a little bit longer here. We have 7h equals a negative of a 2h minus 18. Okay, I love this one. I'm glad we're ending on this one because students will often get confused with your invisible ones, okay? There's all these invisible ones in math. I know it's kind of annoying sometimes. But if you have a negative of a 2h minus 18, it's the same thing as saying negative 1 times 2h minus 18, right? These are the same thing. All I did was just add the negative 1 here, okay? Because it means the same thing. Okay, so now, hopefully that you can see that it gives you a number now to actually multiply, right? Some students, you guys know it's just going to be negative 2h, and then negative of a negative is a positive, right? But it's the same thing as saying negative 1 times your 2h. Negative 1 times your negative 18, okay? So I just rewrote it a little bit. Let's do our same first step and check if we can combine like terms on either side. It looks like we can't. 7h is by itself, and then 2h minus 18, not like terms. Okay, so we're going to go straight to distribute. Not both sides. Distribute right side of equation. Okay, so 7h on the left stays put. Negative 1 times 2h is a negative 2h. And then go back to the negative 1. Negative 1 times a negative 18. Positive. Okay, so I like to deal with the signs first. Negative times a negative is positive, so you're going to add. And then 1 times 18, another 18. Okay? Okay, we still have variables on both sides, so I'll keep narrating. We'll have 7h equals a negative 2h plus 18. So I have h on both sides. I'm going to choose to add 2h to both sides to get rid of this term right here, right? Because we still have some leftovers here. Let's remove this and move it over to this left side, essentially. Okay, so we're gonna add 2h to both sides. It'll look like this: add 2h, add 2h. When we do that, the whole purpose is this will go to 0, right? Negative 2h plus 2h. I remove it. I just have a plus 18 left on the right side. And then we can combine this. 7h plus 2h is a 9h. Okay, there we go. One-step equation. I don't need to explain anything further. Divide both sides by 9. H equals 2. Okay, there you go. So take your time with these. Pause and rewind the video. Use what you need.